swollen. You can come closer.
This is legendary. And picture will be more legendary.
That's for you. All right, ready to go? All of the giggles are gone? Okay, it's time to go. Now, yes? I sprained it. So, if you handed in your Bantu summative, you got feedback from me. So today's mini lesson, today's goal focuses on helping you revise that informational text, that Google Doc, and turning it into another kind of digital text. Okay, so you had Miss B and I spent the morning thinking about things we notice in everyone's informational texts, and then we made today's lesson based on things we felt like were missing, or the things that we thought we need to practice again. Okay, so when we look at the examples today and you practice today, it should help you as you sit down today and write and revise and create your new book or website or whatever. Okay? So the thing we noticed, one of the big things we noticed, is that we need more practice with elaboration. Right? Elaboration. Okay, so you probably, if you looked at my comments, you probably saw that I mentioned things like you need more description, more explanation, a variety of information. Okay? So I want to show you an example. Okay? And I think I showed you this before. This is like part of my draft of an informational text on Malala. Okay? And I was writing about girls' education. I had this here. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I might do to elaborate on the ideas that are here. Okay? So first, I'm going to read you chapter 1. I'm sorry, not chapter 1, paragraph 1. Okay? It says, according to the United Nations, more than 34 million teenage girls around the world do not attend school. There are several reasons why girls are denied an education. Sometimes girls don't go to school because of poverty. In other places, because of beliefs in the community. Okay? I'm going to continue. When girls are denied an education because of poverty, families want all their children to attend school, but they can't afford to purchase books or school fees for the whole family. According to CanFed, a group that helps girls around the world to attend school, when poor families have to pick and choose which children get to attend school, who was that? Did you see who it was? When families have to choose which child gets to go to school, they pick their sons and not their daughters. These families often believe that boys have a better chance at getting paid, getting a paid job after school. All right, so this is just text on my page. Okay, I'm kind of explaining the situation. But I need to elaborate, right? Because what's my goal in writing this book? What is my goal? To what? Persuade the readers, right? Persuade them to do what? You're close, right? Remember, our goal, our essential question is how can people change, or how can young people make a difference in the world? And so our goal with the book is that we help the reader understand something, and we do it in a way that calls them to action. They read our book and they say, I'm going to make a change in my life today because I read this book. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something because I read this book and it brought something to life that I didn't know about, or it explained things in a way that make me want to fight against it. Okay? So, if I'm the author here and I want to elaborate and I really want to compel my reader to do something, I'm going to look for other things I can include in my book that will cause that reader to act. So for this section here, it talks about, it's explaining why more girls are denied education than boys. Okay, and poverty is one of the reasons, and community beliefs is another. Right? So for me, I'm thinking this is my Google Doc, and now I'm creating an ebook with iBooks Author App, with all these different possibilities and options as far as creating the page. So I think to help readers understand and to cause a feeling in them that pushes them to act, I'm going to do a little more research and find some examples of girls who can't go to school. And I want to have a picture of their face and where they're from and their age, and maybe a short sentence or two about them. But I want to show who these girls are that are not going to school. Because I think that this kind of text feature will help bring this piece of information to life. And we put names and faces to the girls I'm writing about here. And I think that those names and faces are more powerful than the text I'm writing, than the words on my page. So I'm going to make that change. Okay, this is one example of elaboration that will compel my reader to take action. Now, this might be reminding you of something. Do you remember these? What are these? Bororonim. Why did we put these on? I put these on before in the unit on personal narratives, right? Why did I do that? When we talked about perspective, we talked about zooming in, right? So, when we wrote those stories, those small moment stories, we looked for parts of the story that show the reader the big idea, the deeper meaning, and we said we have to zoom in and stretch out those small moments. Okay? What we do in our informational text is the same, except that we're not looking for parts that show the deeper meaning. We're looking for parts that show and connect to the central idea. So what I want you to focus on today is thinking about the central idea of your text, and then the parts of your book that connect and show that central idea. You need to elaborate on those parts. So it could mean adding text features. It could mean adding stories. It could mean a box of definitions. It could mean pictures with captions. It could mean maps. It could mean explanations. It depends on what you're writing about. Okay? But before you go back to your desk and start working for today, I want you to go back into your informational text, the one that I graded. And I want you to find a part of the story, a part of your book, where you can elaborate on something, where you can add something that will compel your reader to act. Okay, so I want you to find a spot. I want you to share that spot with your partner. And once you've done that, you can go back and begin your work. Okay? So CJ, tell me what you're going to do.
I'm going to go back to my table and find a partner.
Nope. Dane. Lauren, what are you going to do?
So you're going to open up your information text, find a partner, and before finding a partner, choose a partner where you want to elaborate and choose a partner.
CJ, what are you going to do?
I'm going to go back to my table and find
Nope. Dang, dang. First, you're going to open up to your informational text. And you're going to find a spot that needs elaboration. Find an important part of your story that's too small. Right? Some of you have chapters that are like one paragraph. That's not a chapter. It needs elaboration. You're going to find a spot, and then you're going to tell your partner right here on the carpet how you're going to elaborate. Okay? You say, I'm thinking about doing this. And after you do that, you go back to your desk and begin working. Okay? Logan and Jeff, you can go back to your desk now, and I'll go over and chat with you guys about what you're going to work on today. The rest of you are opening up your MacBooks. You're finding parts of your book that need elaboration. Okay? Ethan, can you hit the stop button for me?